to Cooking with Sally J. Tonight what I'm going to be making is a Boston cream pie. It is my daughter's birthday tomorrow, and this is one of her favorite things. She doesn't eat a lot of desserts, but it's one of her favorite things, as well as me. I'm going to make some whoopie pies for somebody to add. I will add those also to the celebration. So, it's always nice to celebrate birthdays. And I'm sitting here trying to think how old she is. She's my youngest one, and I think she's going to be 32. She was born in '88, so I'm pretty sure 32. But anyway, to make the first part, because Boston cream pie is not real difficult, it's just time consuming. So the first part we got to do is make a thin cake. It's called a dinette cake, and it's not a very big cake. Like, so when you divide it, it's quite thin. So we're going to start out with 1.5 cups of flour, and then 1 cup of sugar. And you don't mix, I just mix everything all together at one sitting. And you know what? I did forget something. So, milk. We're going to need 3/4 cups of milk. Thought I was doing good because I had the egg all out. We're doing a backpack giveaway at the church. Our youth pastors thought it would be a good idea to do that for the kids to go back to school with. And our youth pastor's wife, well, they're both our youth pastors. They do it. They're a team. That's what it is in ministry. You're a team. Her heart wanted to do 100 backpacks. And then COVID hit, and the people bringing them in, it kind of stopped. But when we found a deal online, and we were able to purchase all 100 backpacks, and Walmart gave us 100 water bottles free, like joyfully. And the church people have all gathered all the other things, the markers and all that. So, yeah, I was trying to figure out why I was telling you all that, but I'm on a time frame, and at 6:30 we're going to be packing those bags. So I'm trying to get the cake part of it made. So, my ramblings, people, but I'm pretty proud of the church pulling together to do something like that. So let's go back to this. We had 1.5 cups of flour, 1 cup of sugar, and then we have 3/4 cup of shortening. That's not true. We have 1/3 cup of shortening, not 3/4, 1/3. So when I make bloopers like that, I do have the right thing on the recipe. Okay, 1/3 cup of shortening, 1 egg, a 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I'm using 1/2 teaspoon right here. So I'm thinking my thing is just about empty. That on the shopping list. So that was 1.5 teaspoons of that, and it's 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and then 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Okay. And 3/4 cup of milk. Okay, so that's all in there. And we're just going to beat that all together really good. Put this in a measuring cup. This just had the flour in it, so it's fine. I measure it because I want them to be equal. I don't want one bigger than the other. And I'm thinking it's about a cup each pan, but we'll make sure. Okay, this is going to be a full 2 cups. Okay. So this is a 2-cup measuring cup, and it filled that up. So now what I'm going to do, I've already got my pans. I sprayed my pan, and then I took parchment paper and laid it in there, and then I just trimmed it off because you just kind of want to make it like a cupcake thing. This cake seems to stick to the pan itself, and I'm no good with flour, so I use the parchment paper. And if you've watched my video with molasses cookies, you'll know my granddaughter hates parchment paper, but it works great for this. Okay, so we're gonna put about a cup of batter into this pan. Need to scrape around the sides so I can see the numbers to make sure. This, I don't like eyeballing this one because I really need both pieces of cake to be equal. Okay, so we're at a cup now, and that was a pretty full cup, so we'll just do a little bit more. Just kind of spread it out evenly, it'll be fine. My oven is preheated. I was gonna say pre-lit, it wasn't pre-lit. Preheated to 350. And where these are so thin, they cook up quite quickly, so. I wouldn't advise you to start another project while they're cooking because you'll forget. This one's actually looking a little thinner than the other one. I might have to steal some batter out of the other one because I might have. Okay if one's a little bit thinner than the other, but you just want to get it as close as you can, having it even. Okay, so that's the cake part, and you're going to just put it in I put them both on the top shelf. 350 for, they say 35 to 40 minutes. It's not going to be that long, so I'll let you know for sure how long. But where I divided it, because they say to put the whole batter in one pan, one square pan, and I divided up between 2, so it's going to take half the cooking time. We're getting ready to take the cakes out, and it's been about 17 minutes. Yeah, it's not coming back. That means they're cooked just about right. I will show you. Okay, I don't know what you can see, so I gotta give myself a minute. Here. Okay, I've got to let them cool a little bit before I can take the stuff off of them because they're too hot, and you always should let your stuff cool. So this is what they look like. They can be, I don't like my cakes dry. I mean, they could be maybe a little bit browner on the top, but no, not much. That's just pretty much perfect right there. We're going to let them cool, and then we'll take them do the filling of the Boston cream pie cake. And so what we're going to start with, you're going to need milk, egg yolk, sugar, vanilla, and cornstarch. So you're going to put 1.5 cups of milk into your pan. And I need to turn the stove on. Now they're going to tell you to cook it on medium heat. I usually have it up on the higher end of things to start with to get my water where I want it to be. Then you're going to have 1/3 cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Okay, so you're going to mix this. Actually, I want to use a whisk. I feel like I'm not talking loud enough. It's like early for me. I haven't even got my walk in yet. I got whoopie pies I got to make today, and so you're gonna whisk this until it comes to a thickened texture. Okay, so you're not gonna do anything with the egg white until the very end. This part takes patience. That's why I stir continuously if I'm gonna have it up on the higher end, because you don't want it to scorch on the bottom. Okay, so my milk mixture is starting to thicken, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to try to show you that. It doesn't take long. It's like a custardy. You're supposed to bring it to a boil for 1 minute. I kind of eyeball it when I feel like it feels thick on my whisk. Then I know it's pretty much ready. But once it starts boiling, you need to boil it for about 1 minute. Whether you want to stand there and count to 60, or if you have a timer in front of you, it's whatever. I can pretty much judge. I can tell. Okay. I did turn my temperature down to medium. So, okay, so I have my egg yolk here, which I want to show you. You're just gonna break it up a little bit with a fork. And then you're gonna just pour half of your mixture. Do not pour all of your mixture into the egg, just half. Okay, there's half in my pan, half in this. You're gonna mix that up good. And you're gonna put it back into your pan. Then you're going to put it back on your medium heat, stir it well together, and you're going to bring it to a boil for another minute. I got tired last night. I should have made this last night, and just because it's got to cool off before you put it in your plate, in your pie, in your cake. You can tell I haven't had breakfast, I haven't had anything yet because my brain don't really want to function. Okay. Set a minute. I'm going to shut that off because it'll cook. It will still cook. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour it back into this, because it'll cool a little quicker in the refrigerator. Oh yeah, that's nice. It's pulling away nice. Okay. Thickened up really good. I'm not sure how that would do. Sometimes the weather makes a difference on things and their consistency. But I guess I'm catching this at the right time. Then we want 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Yes, so go back to consistency. Sometimes the weather, the humidity makes a difference on certain things that you're making, like if you're making a white mountain frosting, which is called a royal frosting, or a custard. Sometimes things don't thicken because the humidity is too high in the air. And we're supposed to have thunderstorms today, so I wondered how this would work, but like I told you before, it seems like every time I do a video, things just work out and everything comes out great for me. So, thanking God for that blessing. My family laughs at me. They're like, hashtag blessed on everything. They think I should do that. But I am blessed. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Because I'll tell you, it's not in my own power that I can do things. Alright, so we got this already. It needs to cool off before we do our next part. So we will be back in a few minutes. Now we are gonna put the cake together and top it. And hopefully I can get that done before Tabitha shows up with the baby. Alright, so I took the cakes out of the pan, just, you know how to take a thing out of a pan. I just wanted to show you how you peel back the parchment, see? And it just gives you a nice cake. I'm going to put the top side of the cake down. And this could have probably cooled a little bit more, but it's still thick and it's going to stay on the cake fine. Okay. Okay, so we can see that's all nice and custardy. Going to take the other part of your cake and just lay that right on top, just like that. So the top of the cake will face up. Alright, so now we're going to make the frosting, which is going to be 3 tablespoons of margarine, I think. Let me check. Yep, I'm pretty good. 3 tablespoons. Which I already cut. Got a frog in my throat. And 2 tablespoons of Crisco. You're going to stick that in the microwave for 30 seconds. So I've got my melted butter and my melted shortening, and I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of cocoa. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Away when I need it. Okay, 6 tablespoons of cocoa. You're going to mix that up together so that makes, now some people will melt squares of chocolate. I never think to buy squares of chocolate, and this is actually more homemade than the squares of chocolate, so that's why I do that. Then you're going to add a cup of powdered sugar. And 2 tablespoons of hot water. Wow, that's pouring slow. 1, 2. Okay. You're going to mix that together up really good. just use a fork to mix it up. My custard is kind of dripping down a little bit. I don't want that to do that. Go back up. Okay. So then what you're just going to do is I just drizzle it over the top. Drizzle, I'm not drizzling it, I'm just pouring it, okay? Forget the drizzle. So once you get it up there, you just want to lightly just smooth it so it just drips down the edges a little bit. It will drip eventually. Whoop, there is a big drip. I want a big one. Can't see what's happening on that side. So, I did good to get this together before she got here. Alright, then just to make it a little more festive, she's 32, but you know what, they still like sprinkles. And you just take some, whatever color sprinkles you want, and just sprinkle over the top. There you got it. Boston cream pie, happy birthday, Tabitha. I hope you enjoyed this video. And for more recipes or more entertainment, because I seem to give people entertainment. I either don't smile enough or I say something off the wall or whatever. But if it brings you joy, who cares, right? It's a Boston cream pie cake. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel, Cooking with Sally J. And you can also find me over on my Facebook page, Cooking with Sally J, and the full video and recipe will be there. God bless you and have a wonderful day.